Hey, I'm Candace, your host, and if you're ready to grow your business and build your authority by getting booked on podcasts, I've got something special for you. I'm launching a brand new course that will walk you through exactly how to get booked on podcasts. Everything from identifying the right shows to pitching, preparing for interviews, and leveraging your guest appearances for growth. Plus, if you sign up for the waitlist now, you'll get early access to the course and these special bonuses. When you officially enroll in the course, you'll save $50 and get a free one-on-one strategy call with me to help you prep your speaking points and align your offers. These bonuses are limited and end on April 13th, so make sure to sign up today. Head to the link in the show notes to join and get started on your podcast guesting journey. I can't wait to help you get booked and start sharing your message with the world. Now let's dive into today's episode. All right, everybody, I have a special guest, Dai Smith. She is the owner and founder of Simplicity by Dai, the organizing and productivity consulting company that provides simple and organizing productivity solutions for entrepreneurs, professionals, and parents alike. She's an international speaker, 3-time best-selling author, and a wife, mother, and community leader. She's a certified professional organizer. She juggles marriage, motherhood, career, and entrepreneurship. And with that is the secret weapon for entrepreneurs and busy professionals who want to trade clutter and chaos for simple and organized. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. So happy to be here. This is my tribe, mompreneurs, skills. So I'm happy to be here.
It sounds like you've had quite an amazing journey. Tell us about that and how you are where you are now.
So I started off my organizing journey in college. I was a kid who was raised by someone who was very strict with like order and structure. So I went to college thinking everybody was going to have that. And I had a roommate who was not, and many people who were not in the dorms. And so I started taking my friends to Target to get organized things in their rooms. And that became a little hobby, a little way for me to make a little money on the side in college, was organizing people's dorm rooms. And then I found out there were people in the world who did that for a living. The National Association of Productivity and Organization, or was called Professional Organizers back then, NAPO. And I kind of realized that was my people. Those are people who I can relate to, who like structure and order. So I always had in the back of my head to, if I ever started a business, it was going to be as a professional organizer. But I graduated college, got married, had kids, I had my corporate job, and kind of was living that life for a while, and sales and marketing, the pharmaceutical industry. And then in 2019, if you're in the pharma industry, you know how it is. There's always layoffs and realignments, as they call it. And I was affected by that. So I lost my job in August of 2019, but I'd already started my business processes earlier that year. I was just moving at a slow pace. I was like, what's the rush? I had a new baby, no big deal. But when that happened, it's almost like I got pushed into entrepreneurship, and I was happy about that. I looked at it as a sign to start my business. So I was laid off in August of 2019, and by September of 2019, I had my LLC. I had a marketing consultant help me with my website and my branding, and I had my first paid client in October. And so since then, as you read, I've transitioned from physical organization to more digital organization and productivity consultant for businesses. I use technology. I've written books. I've launched a podcast like you, Candace.
Yeah.
And featured on platforms, Drew Barrymore Show, media, all the things, talking about how we, especially as moms and mompreneurs, can create order and structure in our lives and run our business and raise our families at the same time.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my mission, speaking to that group of people.
So cool. Tell me, how do you use your own skills in your own life to juggle all of the things that you're doing?
I often say organization is my saving grace. There is absolutely no way I can manage. I'm back in corporate America still, so I manage a full-time job, full-time parenting, marriage, and then I'm an extrovert, so I'm always trying to do social stuff and hang out with people, and I don't slow down. But I believe that organization, like that foundation, has kept me from not feeling so overwhelmed. I'm still overwhelmed at times, but I kind of have like systems in place. I'm very structured and disciplined when it comes to like when I do things, how I do things, how to leverage technology, when to delegate, so I feel like organization, if that foundation has helped me to be able to balance it and still feel afloat. Like, it's crazy, but it's functional and I'm happy and let's keep it going. So that's kind of where I land on that.
Yeah. So if we stick with that organizing topic for all the moms listening, what hacks do you have for them? And is that something that takes a lot of time to set up in the beginning? How do you manage that with, your clients and helping people set something up that will work for their home? How much time should they expect that to take, or what's something they can do today?
With physical organization, I have a process that I use. It's called the simple card process to organize any room. You follow that 10 steps and you can organize a room in a weekend or a day. I really believe in like focused tasks. So if you say, okay, I'm going to organize my kids' playroom, and you do that for a few hours, you'd be surprised how much you can do in a few hours. Now, if you want to organize your whole house, then you probably have to do that in the weekend. But you'd be surprised how quickly you can transform something just by decluttering, setting up a Salvation Army or donation pickup day and setting things aside, getting your family involved so that you're not the lone soldier organizing, because it's more than just your stuff there. And of course, hiring a professional, because sometimes you don't want to do that. You don't have the time to do that. And I don't want moms to feel any shame, and like you would hire someone to clean your house or mow your lawn.
Yeah.
Hire someone to help you organize. You don't have to do that yourself. There's people like me who love to do it and can do it more efficiently, even if it's working alongside you. So I would say that for the physical. And then digitally, I feel like there's even sometimes more of a learning curve there, because we are, have been forced into more of this virtual online space since the pandemic. But that doesn't mean a lot of people have really adopted using technology the way we could. With timelines on things like that, like organizing your email or organizing the photos on your phone, or even setting up some sort of system in your business, takes as long as it takes, depending on what you're doing, how much data is there, and what systems are you using to organize it. So sometimes you can use AI to speed things up really quickly. Sometimes there's a learning curve that you may have to like learn a system before you can do it. But again, there's people who do this for you.
Yeah.
That you can do. You don't have to do it unless you just like tinkering and
right. Yeah.
being.
I mean, there's people that love to do it, like you said, and you can pay for it with your time or pay for it with your money. And
figure that out, right?
Yep.
Which one?
Yeah. Tell me about the books and what inspired you to do that, and what was that experience like?
So my first book right here in the back, The Simple Card Method, it is really just my homage to my mom and organizing. So my mom I call her organizing OG, because you can call her a day and ask her where is something at, and she knows exactly where it's at. And very close to be very structured. I mean, I think I'm the more structured of the three daughters, but that's how her house was ran. So that book was more of like just capturing everything that I had learned about how to organize. And the theme of the book is called Your Home's Love Language. So I'm obsessed with love languages. I think that they are a great demonstration of the platinum rule, which is treating others how they want to be treated. I actually got permission from Mr. Gary Chapman's team to use that in my book, who wrote the original love language. I feel like organization is your home love language. It's not cleaning or changing light bulbs or sweeping the floor. It's the thing you do. You pour into your house and you set up systems, and it gives back to you, kind of like a love language. Like you pour into someone, they give your love language to you. It's a reciprocity type of thing. So yeah. I got that idea from love languages, and that organization is your home's love language. I wanted to give people a tip book, something quick you can read to say, okay, I want to organize my closet. How do I do it? I want to organize my kids' playroom. Where do I start? And so this tip book shows you each step. SIMPLECARD, Simple Card is an acronym that has steps, and it tells you how to do it in each step. So I want to give that to people and tell my story about how I got started. Why am I this weird organizing person that loves to see clutter and like want to fix it? So that book was my first book. And then the next two books were both Amazon bestsellers, and they were anthology books. So I collaborated with two groups of people, Moms Who Boss Up, and then a viral networking group. So both of those books were telling our stories. It allowed me to have a community of people, both moms and then business owners, where we can promote our books together. We will always have this moment, this like piece of history. We wrote a book together. You get more bang for your buck. You have my story and the story of 15 or 16 other people in each
Yeah.
book. So those have been really great to be a part of.
Yeah, they sound like really good resources for the people listening to grab if they are interested in this.
They're all
Yeah.
on Amazon, and to figure out if we can gift some to any of your listeners as well. Love to
Oh,
do that
yeah, we
too.
can totally do that. Let's see. We have a lot of listeners, speaking of them, that have things on their heart and not in their mind, and they haven't taken action yet, or they've tried and they get stuck really easily. What
Yeah.
advice do you have for them to be able to be productive and make that progress?
One thing I do is I love to like look within, right? So I often give this assessment. You can go on my website and grab it, discover.simplicitybyday.com. It's based on your work style, how you like to work. So in the corporate world, I learned about DISC and Myers-Briggs and personalities and all these things. And I found that working with clients, we have work styles, ways we like to work. We're more efficient at working. So I would plot people in this assessment can either be someone who likes to delegate, collaborator, someone who is more strategic, and someone who's visionary. So you start there to figure out where you kind of fall. And then you make moves, learn to work in your zone of genius. So sometimes we get stuck because we're doing things that are not natural for us. I think that's where procrastination builds. If I need to find out who needs to do something for me and delegate, that's going to take me a long time because I'm not a delegator. I'm going to want to figure out, I'm more of a strategic person. I want all the details. I'm going to probably have to like really put together a package. You got to have all the things. So I know that would cause me to have paralysis by analysis.
Okay.
And I would probably be right there. Someone else who maybe is a collaborator, they may find that they can't really make decisions or move without talking to other people. Who else I need to talk to or check with and figure out, how this is going to affect them, or I need to run this decision by them. They may be stuck because they can't make decisions without talking to others, which is fine. So first, that's just two of the work styles. But first I would look within to say, okay, how do I like to work? What feels comfortable to me? And then really embrace that, and then find out how, if you need to get something done in a way that's not natural to you, who can you lean on to help you with that? Don't feel bad that you're not moving, you don't have that work style. Give yourself grace because that's not your makeup. And then put systems in place to help you. So because I'm not a delegator, I'm not really a collaborator, I'm not a visionary, I put people on my team to help me because I need that support. So I would say, think of yourself as someone who is an interdependent woman who doesn't have to do it all by herself. And if there's an area where you do feel stuck or you do feel like you need support, figure out where that support is and go get that. Because perhaps you can't move forward because you need someone to help you with that. An accountability partner, coach, an organizer, whatever. Right. Your spouse you need to run something by. So look at it that way. And again, I can't say this enough. Give yourself grace. Like that you're not supposed to be a one-woman show doing all the things. So
yeah, we're not supposed to know everything. We don't, you don't go into it knowing everything. What's your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur compared to the corporate world?
I felt like I've done so much great things in my corporate world. Like whatever goals I set, I've been very fortunate to achieve those. And it didn't feel like enough. I felt discontent, like, this all, I don't know. Maybe it's the perfectionist in me. So when I started feeling like that, I found that I always had that burning desire from college to have a business. I realized I can pour all of my creative ingenuity into a business. If I want to write a book, if I want to launch a course, if I want to speak, if I want to do anything, all of that can be funneled through the business. Yeah. It really can. If I want to build something and make an exponential amount of money, you do that through owning the business. You can't really do that working corporate if money is a driver for you. You want to have more time and flexibility for your family. You can do that more perhaps through running a business the right way. And so just the opportunities that are endless and having a business is what I love about it. Even though it is harder at the beginning, even though you kind of got to wing it if you don't know what you're doing, you got to spend more money, I think having had a great corporate career and building this business, I still feel like the business is more of where my heart and my passion lies, and where I can really take everything that I'm supposed to do, that I was put on this earth to do, and do it through the business.
Sounds like you felt nudges and you just had these knowings and you allowed yourself the chance to follow them, which is cool.
Yeah, I often say, and I say this on my podcast, give yourself permission. I remember that moment when I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't need to wait on anybody to say it's okay. Timing wasn't right. I had 2 kids under 3. It was not right.
Yeah.
I was just laid off. Should have been trying to get myself a job
Yeah.
instead of starting a business. I say, I'm gonna try. Why not? I mean,
Yeah.
I can always go back.
Yeah, I love that. Speaking of the beginning of starting a business, what do you wish people knew at that point, right when they're getting ready to start something on their own?
Maybe spoken a lot about, but getting that village around you, that coach, that advisor. It doesn't have to be someone that you pay. It can be someone that you look up to, but sometimes the folks that you pay have more of accountability to you. But getting that coach who is where you're wanting to be to pour into you is so important. Unless you grew up in a family of business owners, you don't know what you're doing.
You're right.
So you need someone. It's like you want to be a physician. You're not going to just walk into a doctor's office with a lab coat on and just go to work. You need training. You need development. You need school, and so school for entrepreneurs a lot of times is that coaching, mentorship.
Right.
Something that's going to give you this unknown and make it make sense for you so you can chart your way a little bit better. So I would say, again, don't think you have to do it alone. Find someone you connect with who is where you want to be. Find out you can get connected to them, and don't reinvent the wheel. Figure out how to take from them and glean from them and be able to build what you want in your business.
We get stuck, or so many people get stuck in the beginning thinking, well, mine's not a new idea or it's been done before. But the reality is, because you're in charge of it and you're leading it, it's going to be different than someone else's.
There is endless amount of money to be made in this world of 8 billion people. Whatever you're supposed to be doing, you have a client for it if it's positioned and it comes from a good spirit of why you're doing it.
Of serving and helping. What are you working on right now, and how do you help people, or do you mostly work with businesses? Tell us about that.
So right now for 2024, I'm really focused on my VIP days. So that's where I work one-on-one with individuals, whether they're professionals or business owners that are maybe solopreneurs, in an intensive where we work on productivity priorities. So that could be helping them with creating processes, SOPs, standard operating procedures, managing their email communication, helping them with their online organization, like files and systems and streamlining those. So we do that during a VIP day. We also help with like scheduling, because sometimes people are just like, how do I manage my day? I work with a lot of multi-passionate entrepreneurs who have multiple businesses or multiple things, and they just need to bring it all together and get a project management system in place or scheduling in place. So the VIP day is where I work with that person one-on-one to guide them through that. And we use technology, we use tools to help integrate those into your business or bring them in if you don't have them. Really working on targeting more entrepreneurs with that. If you have a big team, we do VIP services. It's a little bit more than a day, but it's the same type of concept where we're working with you and your team on productivity solutions. So I do that work with client work. And of course, I love to speak and train and educate around how people can create more order in their lives and businesses. So looking for more opportunities to speak and continue to grow my podcast, The Modern Mompreneur.
One of my closing questions I like to ask is, what message would you like the listeners to take away today if they don't remember anything else?
The one message I want to leave for your listeners is to always give yourself permission to follow your dreams, because you never know what is on the other side of that. You don't know who is waiting for you to bring forth what is inside of you to help them. And so don't ever give up on yourself. Always give yourself permission to follow that idea, that intuition, and go for it.
Thank you for that. Tell us where we can find you. And I know you have, and you mentioned it earlier, that productivity superpowered tool. Where can we find that and more about you?
Well, you can start at meetwithdai.com. It has all of the links to schedule a complimentary discovery call, to join my newsletter, to sign up for any courses or classes that I have, and to take the productivity persona superpower assessment. It's called your unique work style assessment. And it's that link directly is discover your work style at discover.simplicitybyday.com. But if you go to meetwithday.com, all those links are there. It's kind of the hub to connect with me.
Okay.
I'm on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn at Simplicity by Day.
Wonderful. I'll link all that in the show notes. Thank you so much for being on and spending time with us today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. And I love, again, to gift anyone with the Your Home's Love Language book. So if there's a listener who's super interested in figuring out how the heck do I get organized, especially during this season, happy to send you an autographed book as well.
Perfect. That would be great. Okay. Thank you so much. Again, I'm going to link that in the show notes. And to the listeners, have a better brave day. Thanks for tuning in. If you're ready for podcast mentoring, whether it's setup, editing, planning, or guesting, you can book a one-on-one call with me through the link in the show notes. I hope you feel seen, inspired, and like your dreams and goals are completely valid, because they are. See you next Tuesday.